Good morning, guys. Good morning once again. Welcome to South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. Yes, we are still on what is happening in the DRC, which involves Rwanda, South Africa, and other parties that are involved in that situation. But what has transpired also is that it looks like there is a beef between President Cyril Ramaphosa and the Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda. And I became very curious and I went digging. I discovered, oh my goodness, this is an old beef, and it looks like Paul Kagame is the one that is very suspicious in this whole thing. And then again, Paul Kagame is being accused by media houses that he has the intentions of seeing the regime change within the DRC. And if that is true, that would explain also why he is allegedly involved in supporting the M23 towards their mission there in the DRC. He has been denying it. But now, as the days go by, they started talking in a different language that, we have to defend our DRC and all of that. Yet they were saying they are not participating in what is happening when this whole thing started. So we're going to be clearing that as we move along. So there is a post by the BBC Africa. It says, M23 have been moving south towards Bukavu, the capital city of South Kivu, after capturing the largest city in the region, Goma. The Congolese army has set up a defensive line on the road between the two cities, according to AFP news agency. Earlier this week, the M23 group vowed to continue their offensive until they reached the capital Kinshasa, which is 2,600 kilometers away. So now, when you look at this, they did not only capture Goma, they want to reach Kinshasa. And now the news is that the M23 is being supported by the president of Rwanda. And now we are given the reason that it is because the president of Rwanda is interested in seeing the regime change in the DRC. Why? Does Kagame have the will to be the president of the DRC combined with Rwanda? What is the bigger deal here? So BBC Africa posted, Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi has vowed to restore government authority in the east, where Rwanda-backed M23 rebels have seized control of the city of Goma and are reportedly advancing south to take more territory. So now when you look at this, Is it President Cyril Ramaphosa that is saying the M23 is backed by Rwanda? Is it President Cyril Ramaphosa alone? Then this takes us back to that beef. So I'm going to share with you why are they beefing towards the end of this video. So I want to close the video with that, where I discovered that there is something there that happened some years back. Also, BBC Africa says Rwanda's President Kagame has repeatedly denied to be supporting the M23 rebels from neighboring DRC. But as signals of Rwanda's support increase, the country is changing its tone with claims about the need to defend its territory and safety. You see, that's my chat. This I heard very well. In fact, I saw it. I was like, these are the people that they said they've got nothing to do with what is happening. Like, the way they were moving, they were saying that there is no army of theirs that is involved in that situation. So, as you know, it became evident that Rwanda is participating. They started, no, we have to defend our territory. So let us listen to, I think she is the DRC representative in the UN. Let us hear what she said, and then I'll be back with more commentary.
I welcome the fact that the Council has recognized Rwanda's responsibility for the violation of our sovereignty and our territorial integrity, as well as the violence currently unfolding in Goma. However, words have not been enough to end the human suffering and the aggression and onslaught on Goma. It is now time for the Security Council to act. Millions have been displaced, thousands are trapped in the besieged city of Goma with restricted access to food, water, electricity, security. Countless lives have been lost. Enough is enough. Rwanda cannot be allowed to continue to act with impunity, and I therefore called on the Council to act in defense of the principles of multilateralism and international law. The DRC welcomes the decision by Germany, not a Council member, to cancel its planned meetings next month on development aid with Rwanda and to urge Rwanda and the M23 to withdraw their troops. This is an example of the kind of action that we are calling for the rest of the international community to take, whether they are Council members or not. The Security Council should take note. They cannot remain silent or inactive any longer. As I stated in the Security Council today, we demand 5 immediate actions, very actionable and very precise. Firstly, the unconditional withdrawal of Rwandan troops from sovereign Congolese territory. There is no path to sustainable, peaceful resolution without this crucial step. Secondly, it is imperative that the Council introduces sanctions targeting the command structure of the Rwandan Defense Forces to undermine its ability to wage war against the DRC and its people. Thirdly, the introduction of an embargo on Rwanda's illicit exploitation and exportation of mineral resources in the DRC will stem the financing of this aggression. As a reminder, the United Nations Group of Experts report, the last one, indicated that over 150 tons were illegally mined on a monthly basis and exported by Rwanda under the label of Rwandan minerals. Thank you. Fourthly, we are calling for the suspension of Rwanda as a contributor of troops to UN peacekeeping missions. We need to end the double standard, where Rwanda is able to contribute to UN peacekeeping forces while its troops kill members of the MONUSCO mission and the SADC mission. In less than 4 days, over 14 peacekeepers were killed, and this in absolute impunity. Finally, there must be total transparency in arms transfers to Rwanda in order to stem its ability to stoke further violence. This aggression is not only a threat to the DRC, but also to the entire region and the principles enshrined in the UN Charter. It is time for the United Nations Security Council to act decisively and send a clear message that Rwanda's aggression and impunity will not be tolerated. As I said to the Council, the rules of multilateralism apply to us all. There is no Rwandan exceptionalism. Thank you.
Take on this whole thing is that it is known. It is something that is known. See, did you hear what that lady said? It looks like it's something that is known, that the Rwanda is actually doing what Paul Kagame is denying. It is not from President Cyril Ramaphosa alone, just like that. Anyway, let us move now into, please don't forget to share your views in the comment section. So let us go to what the beef is about between President Paul Kagame and President Cyril Ramaphosa. I don't think it comes from President Cyril Ramaphosa. There might be a reason why the president of Rwanda wanted to do that to President Cyril Ramaphosa, but there is nowhere where it is said President Cyril Ramaphosa did something like that to Paul Kagame. So why did I bring this here? It is because I discovered something that Paul Kagame, back in 2021, it was discovered that he has been spying on President Cyril Ramaphosa with implanting the spyware in President Cyril Ramaphosa's phone. Hey, guys, this is serious. And they were using some spyware called the Pegasus, if I'm not mistaken, and that spyware was owned by a company that is based in Israel. Some reports say Paul Kagame bought that company from this Israeli company and then used the spyware to do wara. I haven't seen anything that supports that, but I have seen that a non-profit media house called what is it called again? It's called the Forbidden News. Together with other organizations, with different journalists, I think about 80 journalists that were involved in this project called the Pegasus Project. They discovered that there was this spyware that was used to spy on head of states. On that one, the people that were also involved, out of 14 head of states that were spied on by that spyware, there was President Cyril Ramaphosa, Imran Khan, the former minister of Pakistan, as well as Emmanuel Macron, the president of France. So now, they saw that They say that spyware is being used by that company to help in fighting terrorism and all of that. But eventually, it is said, I don't know how that story ended, because I saw that the company was threatening to sue. They said they know that they will win the case and whatever. If somebody knows that they won that case, kindly let us know in the comment section. And then this was for me, was like, what is it with Paul Kagame and President Cyril Ramaphosa? Why would you have the need to spy on your fellow African president? Why would you feel the need? So I think the bad blood comes from there. So now this spyware was put in President Cyril Ramaphosa's phone, and it was discovered by the investigative journalists. They found out that our president's phone has been spied. And when they found out that it is Rwanda that did it, via President Paul Kagame. So you can check that thing. It's in the public domain. I'm not making the stuff up. You can just search the Pegasus project. Then you'll find that information. I was asking myself, why would you feel the need to spy on your fellow African president? And when he comes out now to look like he is beefing with President Cyril Ramaphosa, I was like, okay, that is why President Cyril Ramaphosa is not even saying much on this, because I think he knows more than we do why the guy is behaving in the manner in which he's behaving. So, and also I found a short clip of President Paul Kagame saying, these other countries act like they are superior when it comes to human rights. He said, they don't talk about this, stop this nonsense and whatnot. And then I was like, hey, I know some people from Rwanda living in South Africa. And you'll be telling these people that, look how beautiful your country is. I would like to visit. In fact, I would even relocate. I know I wouldn't relocate to Rwanda, when you're making a conversation, but said I can even relocate to Rwanda. And they'll be telling you that it is not looking like it looks. It is not, it is not how it looks. They say they have no desire of going back. So those are not the only ones. There are many people from Rwanda who don't want to go back to Rwanda. And they said to me, I said, okay, it is beautiful, but it is not enjoyable in a country where you are silenced. They say you can talk about anything, but you are not allowed to have a voice politically. And in that article about the Pegasus project, they say that there are people that were spied on who actually eventually lost their lives because they were followed through this Pegasus spyware. When you look at those things, I would say, you know what, with confidence, I know as South Africans, we don't agree when it comes to President Cyril Ramaphosa. But I can say this with no fear whatsoever. President Cyril Ramaphosa is a better president when you compare our president with Paul Kagame. In fact, in South Africa, since 1994, we are a country that has had presidents that we don't feel the need to run away from South Africa because we fear what they might do to us because we are being silenced. Angeke. So if Paul Kagame is such a good president, why are his citizens so some? Because I know people who's like, no, we're living in Rwanda, nothing is happening. But I'm talking about some. Why would some of your citizens choose to run away because they fear you? No, I'm going to need that answer. And at the end of this video, I'm going to play that video clip of him talking about, human rights and whatnot. And for somebody to be a president of a country for over 25 years, that person will eventually feel like that is his house. I'm telling you right now, will eventually feel like that is his house. You see, I was commenting, I was not knowledgeable of Paul Kagame, how he became a president of Rwanda, because I was not interested in things politically. It was when in South Africa started changing and we had MK, which affected the ANC's results. And I was like, you know what? Let me check these political things out and see how they go. And then I discovered that Paul Kagame is the president that came in as a young president. He stopped the genocide there. He did good for Rwanda, and good things about Paul Kagame. The thing is, when you stay too long on the thing, when you stay too long, you start thinking, this is my house. This is my house, because there ain't no way. You see, the fact that it is said, no, now I've moved away from his issues with President Cyril Ramaphosa. So the fact that allegedly, please do understand me, allegedly, because something when you see it on the news. So, but I'm comparing with the way in which he is moving, the way he came out against President Cyril Ramaphosa. It was like there is something of his that is being put into jeopardy, because that's what I saw. Like he was acting like somebody who has a lot of skin in what was happening, and now SADC is spoiling whatever that they're spoiling for him. So now the news is they allege that he seeks to change the regime in the DRC. So now, firstly, it was said, it was said that in Goma, there are people from the DRC that when the West divided that place into borders and whatnot, some people ended up being cut over into Rwanda. They said those are Rwandese people. They said those are DRC people, pardon me on that one. Those are people from the DRC. So just because the border separated them, it does not mean they are not the people from the DRC. Those people were living in that region, in Goma, that eastern region right there. So now, when you look at the advancement, it invalidates that view that what happened in Goma happened because there are people that were pushed to the side of DRC, and those people were DRC people who lived in Goma. It now supports the view that there is a bigger agenda of changing the regime in the DRC. And the biggest question is, why is Paul Kagame so moved, so emotionally involved? I say emotionally involved because they were denying the involvement in supporting the M23. So now my thing is, if it is about the people that were living in Goma before and they were divided when the borders happened through the hand of the West, why to advance now? Why to advance up to Kinshasa? What are you looking for? Anyway, guys, when it comes to these things, we know that we can never know too much, especially if you're somebody like me who just, it's like my eyes are being opened into so many things now. So please share your views, share your knowledge on this in the comment section, and let me know what you think about Rwanda spying on President Cyril Ramaphosa that was discovered back in 2021. What I'm saying is not from my head, it's not from President Cyril Ramaphosa, it is not from South Africa, but it is from the international journalists who came together to discover this, that out of 14 heads of state, Rwanda nominated South Africa to be spied on, and specifically President Cyril Ramaphosa. Is there anything involving Paul Kagame in South Africa that makes him to be so interested in South Africa? What is going on? If there is something of Paul Kagame in South Africa, maybe something that is working on in South Africa or against South Africa or for himself in South Africa, or maybe supporting, because in any other thing, politics play a hand in that. Because if you can look at it, when you were seeing the comments in the app like X, you saw some South Africans supporting Paul Kagame, like, and you can tell which political side they are going for. You're like, okay, they are for this side to get. All right. So is there a possibility that Paul Kagame is aligned with certain political parties in South Africa? Because I don't see why would you be interested in spying on President Cyril Ramaphosa in 2021. In 2021, because there are also business people, rich people, very rich people that were spied on using this spyware. So why, or maybe it was discovered in 2021, I don't know. Maybe he was interested in that prior to President Cyril Ramaphosa becoming the president of South Africa. I don't know. Hey, guys, please, whatever you know, please share in the comment section. I am looking forward to hearing such views. If I don't get to respond, please don't be like that. Don't have a grey against me. And sometimes I'll get to react. If I react, it means maybe I only had time to react. So with that, guys, thank you for watching my videos. I'm going to leave you watching a clip of Paul Kagame talking about human rights. So, and next time you bump into my videos, kindly watch my ads in full. It really goes a long way. And guys, do have a beautiful Sunday. I hope you enjoyed this video.
You really need to stop this superiority complex nonsense about human rights. You think you are the only ones who respect human rights, or others it's about violating human rights. No, we've fought for human rights and freedoms of our people much better and more than anyone, including you people who keep talking about this nonsense. Where we have taken our country from and where it is now speaks for itself. The rest of the story just comes from this complex. You know, these two worlds where there are people who know everything about human rights and all kinds of things, and another world where people are just people who don't know. But these are our human rights. It's not, when we respect the things we respect in our countries, it's not for you, it's not for anybody else, it's for ourselves.
Is it not
so
universal?
You don't sit there, yes, it is universal, but you don't sit there. If it is universal and you believe it, then you don't become the judge yourself. You don't start telling the others what to do, what they should not do, or that what they are doing is not to your satisfaction. Who are you?
Well, I'm not sure if we're talking about me personally.
Well, you are the one actually raising these questions. So I think you better interpret it properly so that it is well understood.
Okay.
I could see you are asking the questions in a manner that you want to influence the ones listening to us. But that's not correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm raising it once again in the context of the United Nations Development Goals.
No, United Nations is us. You see, United Nations is not something alien somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's actually us. We participate.
And the framework for this entire development.
And by the way, I had been leading the Millennium Development Goals before Sustainable Development Goals. I was the co-chair of that with other leaders and some of the leaders in Europe. So you don't turn around, it's like you want...
So you believe that there should be scrutiny on human rights in Europe, in Africa?
No, I believe that you shouldn't be there belittling Africans or leaders of Africa who are trying
to... Oh no, but the conversation about migration is a real conversation about human rights. So you believe that there are valid human rights concerns to be taken into account in this conversation?
Even in Europe, not in Africa.
Not in Africa?
In Europe, not only in Africa.
Not, of course.
Yes.
Well, thank you both very much. Unfortunately, that is